what's up, Guardians of the Realm? It is once again me, JC, MMO legend, back from the fields of Cerbule with a delightful Project Gorgon impressions video. Project Gorgon has been plugging away in early access for many years, catering to a very small but dedicated community of players. As of its 1.0 Steam release at the end of January, it has more than tripled its concurrent player record, causing the server owners to open not one, but 3 new fresh start servers to cater to the sudden spike in interest. After catching some of the buzz for this classic and weird MMO, I decided to give the free demo a try. By the way, the demo gives you full access to the first 3 zones of the game, and any dungeons in those zones, and you can also level any skill up to level 15. But you're relegated to the demo chat channel and cannot trade items so that bots can't influence the economy, which makes sense because this is a very crafting and trading oriented game. So like I said, I tried the demo out and my initial impressions were mostly positive. I never cared for the dialogue boxes. I think they definitely scream indie dev to me. However, this game with its weird graphics and weird dialogue boxes and weird game world and quests and everything creates a sort of weird and obtuse tone for the entire game, which makes the ugly boxes feel like they fit the overall aesthetic as well as theme of the game. Another quick note on the UI is that this game actually has a ton of options for UI customization as well as graphical options. You can really tune this game to look how you want and get the UI to feel like whatever MMO you are already used to playing. I opted for the 3 bars stacked, as well as moving my name and buffs down to the bottom, as well as the casting bar and the target nameplate as well. This game also lets you pick from traditional MMO controls, such as World of Warcraft's, as well as point and click, somewhat similar to like a old school ARPG, and my favorite, which is the modern action combat camera. Another side note about me and the action camera, I love action camera. I don't care what anyone says, it's my preferred play style by a country mile. As someone who has probably over 10,000 hours clocked into World of Warcraft while holding down the right click 90% of the time, I feel like I deserve to give my fingers a break. Especially now that I'm in my mid-30s and I've spent several years doing manual labor and operating chainsaws and other power tools. I need to be gentle on my hands from now on. So if you see me playing WoW or Guild Wars 2 or Project Gorgon, I'm probably going to be using action camera. And it's my opinion that it should be an option in every game that heavily encourages the constant usage of the right-click mouse look. So with that said, I was pleasantly surprised to see that Project Gorgon included an option to offset the camera a bit, so you get more of a over-the-shoulder perspective instead of directly behind the character. I think that this is a great camera perspective for a game. I mean, look at Fortnite and Arc Raiders. They've both championed this style of camera and done very well. I think that from a design perspective, the over-the-shoulder with crosshair in the middle enhances the player's depth perception because it gives you more of a diagonal instead of straight-on point of view, which I'm fairly certain contributes to a subtle feeling of immersion within the game world. So after setting in with my controls and camera, I began mercilessly killing my way around Newbie Island, where the journey begins. This game doesn't use quest markers or guide you in any way. They drop you onto the beach, and nearby is a crusty, dusty, old sword that will serve as your first tool of destruction. There's no hand-holding in this game if you don't want it. You can easily go on to the Project Gorgon wiki, which has tons of information and will help you navigate the weird world, I got off the island the old-fashioned way with no help from anyone, using the handy in-game notepad to keep track of my discoveries. Once I arrived at the game's mainland, that was when I had a bit of a quit moment. I was intimidated by the overall size of the landscape, as well as the somewhat almost procedurally generated feeling of placement of random resources and monsters. The map was completely hidden except for a small box around my character, who was moving quite slowly considering the scale of the first mainland map. As someone who frequently pushes through quit moments to see what's on the other side, I pressed on, and I began scrubbing the entire right side of the map out, meeting some interesting, weird NPCs along the way, even peeking my head into and discovering a very dangerous dungeon that I could return to eventually. Somewhere along the way, while wandering the countryside, picking flowers, apples, and mushrooms, killing animals, and fighting the weird brain bugs, constantly leveling my fighting skills, life skills, and mapping out the region, the general flow of the game really started to make sense to me. I started to have this incredibly comfortable feeling while exploring this strange land, and continuously being fed a slow drip of dopamine as my character's abilities slowly and steadily increased. Eventually, my bags were getting full, so I made my way to town. The first town is known as Cerbule Keep, and it is a very lively and different kind of place. The game kind of reminds me of a cozy life simulator like Stardew Valley or Harvest Moon. The NPCs all have different roles within the town, as well as interests. You can raise their relationship with you by giving them gifts that they like, doing favors for them, which are essentially quests, or just hanging out with them, which works as a sort of offline training system. The writing for the dialogue also has a very distinct weirdness to it, and it's very fun to read. And it's not limited to traditionally safe fantasy role-playing subjects. The NPCs will casually discuss using fantasy drugs, and sometimes even their sex lives. You unlock new and weird skills to train by interacting with and gaining reputation with the various NPCs that are scattered through the land. And many skills interact with other skills in ways that you wouldn't expect. An example might be training up your fire magic, which actually lets your character start using fire arrows with archery once fire magic and archery reach a certain level. Another one is certain maps or dungeons might open up once you reach a certain level in a skill. This really does well to amplify the sense of exploration and discovery that is persistent in Project Gorgon. I've been having fun leveling and trying out all kinds of skills just to see what the game offers, and also because you never know what you're gonna find or unlock something unexpected from doing so. It's for this reason that I understand why the game allows you to protect others from having the game spoiled for them by using the triple brackets in chat. It's also worth noting that Project Gorgon lets players combine any two combat abilities together to create their own playstyle. You get 6 abilities from each equipped combat skill, totaling 12 abilities, and 6 miscellaneous abilities on the sidebar. So 18 hotkeys in total, which makes this a fairly simple and easy to get into MMO, at least combat-wise. I think I want to keep this video on the short side though, so thank you very much for tuning in to hear my thoughts on Project Gorgon. It's been a wonderful experience to play, and I think that its uniqueness will help it to carve out its own place in the pantheon, no pun intended, of MMORPGs alive today. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. It really helps my fledgling channel to grow. I will continue to play this game casually over time and make some continuing videos on it eventually. Next week, I plan to do a little recap on my experience getting back into retail World of Warcraft, preparing to play the latest expansion, which is something I've done since Legion. Although I did play the original WoW back when it was new and I raided in Burning Crusade 2007, every 6 months or so I have to play WoW for a little bit. It's part of my MMO condition. I hope to see you again next week. In the meantime, let me know what you're looking forward to for 2026. What game are you playing? How are you feeling about the MMO genre as a whole? Is your favorite game getting some big updates this year? Let me know in the comments section or on my Discord. I'd be happy to get informed and cover any MMO content on my channel. Stay legendary, my fellow gamers, and may you game long and loot often.